On his shelf, among the books, mementos, and the finished stories of his life, sat the one story he refused to finish. A beautifully wrapped box. The paper was rich, a deep blue etched with silver threads. The bow was a complex, spiraling sculpture of crimson ribbon. The gift. It was not hidden. It was displayed. It wasn't a gift from someone. It was a gift for someone. A future, more capable version of himself he hoped to become one day. For years, it was part of the room's geography, a conversation piece. "Oh, that," he'd say, a wistful smile touching his lips. "That's for the right moment. For when I'm truly ready." He'd dust around it with care, his ritual accompanied by a familiar, silent whisper. "Careful. Don't spoil the surprise. Someday." This monument to his own someday. His anchor in possibility. When doubt crept in, he'd look at its perfect bow and think, "I still have that." The box wasn't just an object. It was the protagonist in his personal myth of not yet. Life flowed around it. He pursued other paths, achieved other things. The completed projects and worn tools that sat on the shelf beside it. But his eyes always found their way back to that splash of blue and crimson. It became his personal folklore. The gift represented the writer he would become when he had time, the venture he would launch when he felt brave, and the person he might be when conditions were perfect. See, it was not a box. It was a mirror. And in its pristine surface, he saw a more interesting, ambitious version of himself, a version perpetually waiting in the wings. But myths are heavy. On one weary evening of quiet exhaustion, his gaze fell on the gift, and for the first time, the sight brought not a thrill of potential, but a hollow ache. The room fell silent as he realized he had spent years telling himself a story in which he was always about to be the hero, but never was. The box was the physical proof of that story. The someday he had been curating felt like a story he no longer believed. A simple, terrifying thought struck. What if I'm never ready? With a new quiet determination, not of despair, but of truth-seeking, he took the box from the shelf. It was lighter than he remembered. His fingers, clumsy now, worked at the pristine ribbon. The paper tore, a sound like a sigh. He lifted the lid and found it empty. Not a note, not a token, just void. And for a moment the old story screamed, "See? Nothing. You waited for nothing." But then, a deeper silence, a clearer view. A laugh escaped him, sharp and dry. The truth wasn't inside the box. The truth was the box. He hadn't been preserving an opportunity. He had been worshiping an excuse. The next morning, he placed the empty box on his desk. He took a single note card, wrote Chapter 1, and dropped it inside. The first artifact. The story could now begin. Moral of the story. The box wasn't empty because it held no value. It was empty because he was the one responsible for filling it. The emptiness was the answer. The gift was never an object to be received. It was always an action to be taken. You have shelves in your life. So, here is the only question that matters. What is the one ribbon you are most afraid to untie? Before this video ends, take this action. Open your Notes app. Title a page, "The Empty Box." Write down the first small, imperfect thing you will put in it. A sentence, a searched URL, a sent email. That note is your first artifact. Your story starts now. Take down the box. Honor the emptiness. Then begin to fill it. Not with a single perfect thing, but with the imperfect, glorious evidence that you showed up. And remember always, the greatest opportunity is not something you find. It is the empty space you are given to fill with your own story.
Oh.